So I've worked a little bit more on the nasolabial creases and the lip corners, just to sharpen them up and get a little bit closer to the scan. So I'm pretty happy with this as the high resolution mesh. So we can transfer this now to our LOD0 head. So I'm just going to do that with a blend shape. So that's the difference there. That's the detail that we've gained from this process. So we are ready to start transferring some other meshes now. So first of all, I'm just going to export these models, and we're going to bring back in the original meshes from the DNA file. So that's our new head imported. So first of all, I'm going to hit prefix meshes, and that is going to add this src prefix to all of the meshes from the DNA file. And next, I'm going to rename our sculpt to head LOD0. And now I'm going to go over to the transfer tab, and I'm going to hit transfer face meshes. And this is going to transfer all the meshes from our DNA to our sculpted mesh. So let's take a look at this. So we are now ready to transfer our joint placement. So that's going to take our joint placement up here relative to the surface of the DNA and then transfer it to our new mesh. And I'm going to leave these names as is and hit transfer. Okay, there we go. So let's take a look at this. I'm going to go back to the build tab and hit set joint look so that we can see this a bit more clearly, and I'm going to hide the eyelashes. So what we're looking for here is just to make sure that everything looks like it has transferred okay. Just making sure there's no strangeness. We potentially have a little bit too much thickness in the lips here, but we'll see that in more detail once we have it in motion. Future Bren here. I just wanted to make a quick note on that joint transfer process. It uses a few different techniques to transfer the joint placement. The joints on the skin surface are literally just closest point. But the ones that are underneath the surface project a point onto the surface and then project it back again with the same offset. And then in some other cases, like these lip joints, it kind of takes an average of the child joints. Similar thing with the jaw, that is projecting and then getting a midway point. The eyeball uses the topology of the eyeball mesh to find the center point. It should in theory be pretty robust, but you may encounter some issues in, for example, like in these like really small areas like the corners of the eyes, but for the most part, it should be pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and output a new DNA. And back on the transfer tab, I'm going to go down to update DNA. And I'm going to leave all these ticked and hit update. And then OK. OK, so that's exported. And then I'm going to try and build our rig. Okay, so here is our rig, and here is it working. So out of the box, we have a good rig, but this really just serves as a foundation for building a more refined rig. But it does give us a very solid foundation to work off of. So from this point, what we can do is either start testing it with some mocap, or we can start up-resing it with our high-res model. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do.